Welcome. So many students have had a bit of difficulty with 4.3.8 finding palindromes. So hopefully I can step you through it. If we look at what the assignment asks us to do, we've got to determine if a word is the same forwards and backwards. That's a palindrome. And we need to use a couple methods. We need to create a Boolean method called isPalindrome. They've got the skeleton for you. And we also need to create a method called reverse, which reverses a string and then sends it back. Okay, so we need to ask the user for the word that they want to check on. So let's begin. First things first, we have Java util scanner already imported, so we need to create an instance of the scanner class. So we say scanner input equals new scanner system.in. Okay, now we have that instance. We can ask some questions. System.out.print line bracket. What are we going to ask them? Type your text here. Okay, and we'll put a semicolon. Now we can also assign whatever they type in to a new variable. It's going to be a string. So we say string, we'll say text equals input.next line bracket, boom. Alright, we got the word that they typed in. Now we need to perform some magic on it and figure out if it's the same word backwards and forwards. So we're going to call isPalindrome, and we're going to call reverse. Let's first tackle how to reverse the string. So in the method reverse string, it's going to get a string passed to it, and we need to reverse it. Now there's probably plenty of ways to do this. One algorithm is to start at the end of the word and keep adding the letters and working it backwards. So I'll show you both just for fun. So we need to create a new string to store this new word. So we'll say string new word. Okay, and it's going to equal some empty brackets. So there's nothing in the word yet, and we're going to start adding the letters to it. So we use our for statement, and we're going to start at the end of the word. So if the word is dog, we'll start at the last letter, which would be G. So that's our length, minus 1. So if I think of how many letters are in dog, it's 1, 2, 3, D, O, G. But if I think about the indexes, it's D is 0, O is 1, and G is 2. So I need to kind of stop at 1 before the length. Alright, so anyway, int I equals our text, that's what got passed, dot length, call the method, and then we subtract 1. So again, we don't want to start at 3 because then we'd have an out of bound index error. We want to start at the 2 for dog, whatever. Okay, so how long do we want to do this for? Well, we want to do it as long as I is greater than or equal to 0, because we do need to get that first letter. And what are we going to do to I each time? We're going to subtract 1 from the index. Okay, so now we got our new word. We're going to loop through our word, and we're going to assign each letter to our new string. So there we simply say new word plus equals our word that got passed dot substring bracket I comma I plus 1. This is an algorithm you need to know to get through a lot of these things. So as it loops through, it's going to grab each letter and concatenate it to new word, and by the time you're done, you've got the reversed word. And so that's one way to do it, and that works out usually pretty well. The other way to do it is to have our new word, and what we do is we grab each original letter and then add what we have behind it. Okay, so that one can be a little more confusing for some, but I'll run it through real quick here. So I'll leave that on there for a second, but I'll just comment it out. And we'll do the same with the other algorithm. So this time, again, we're going to say for int I. So if you can imagine, we're going to start at, if we're using dog, we're going to start at D. So D equals 0. Okay, sorry, the first letter equals 0. And we're going to do this as long as I is less than text dot length till we get to the end. And we're using less than so we don't hit the last letter, which of course is going to be an out of index error. So then we add 1 to each of them. Okay, so if we loop through this word, we're starting with D. Okay, so then we say simply our new word is going to equal this substring, which at this point is D dot substring. And then we'll say I plus I, comma, I plus 1. So we'll stop at the first letter and we'll not go to the one before. So remember, inclusive, the first letter is 0 because we're starting at 0. And we're going to stop before 1. 0 plus 1 is 1. And that's how we'll get a substring of just one simple letter. But now we're going to add everything that we already have to the back of this word. So we say plus new word. Now this works out fine for the first iteration because it's simply a blank and we take D and we add a blank after it. Now let's go through the iteration again. Now we have D in memory, new word equals D. So we'll take the next letter, which is O, and then we're going to add what we have in memory to the end of it. So now we had D, we have O, and then we add D to the end of it. So now this is kind of essentially reversing the word. And now we have OD. And then if we flip through again, we have the last letter, which is G, and we have the 2 letters stored in new words. So we have G, and then we add the OD to the end. So the reverse of dog is God. So you can see how that works out. Okay, so in either one of these algorithms, we've reversed it and we're ready to go on. So now we simply have to return the new word. Okay, so that's the tough part. Now, when we come up into is palindrome, we just need to see if the word we passed, once it's reversed, equals itself, right? It got reversed, and a palindrome is the same thing reversed as forward. So you could have a string here if you want. String, we'll call it test, equals what we passed, and we will send that to our method. So our method is reverse. We'll pass it text. That reverses the text and sends it. Whoop! We need a different name for this variable. We'll call it test. I meant test. Whoops. Fingers on the wrong letters. Okay, so we got our new one called test. Now we want to see if these two guys equal each other. So we say if test dot equals bracket text. Okay, the reversed does the reversed equal the original? And if it does, we would return true. Okay, and if it doesn't, we're going to return false. All right. So far, so good. We got our word. We pass it to here. We manipulate it by reversing it, calling this method. We go through it through one of our algorithms, and then we check to see if backwards is the same as forwards. Now we've got to complete the assignment. So, we got Madam. Madam's a good one. And we'll check it. So we want to produce two different things. If the word is a palindrome, we're going to say your word's a palindrome, or else we're going to say it's not a palindrome. So if the results of the method we call, so if is palindrome, pass it the text that they typed in, and it's going to receive it down there. So if this guy returns true, okay, and that's what, if I just simply say is palindrome text that evaluates to true, we simply copy and paste. Control C, system out print. Out. boom, semicolon, and else. If it isn't a palindrome, we have to say this. Semicolon. Okay, so let's give it a shot. All right. Like the one they had madam. So we'll try madam. M-A-D-A-M. Your word's a palindrome. Oh, it's so good. So if I look at madam backwards, it's madam. Okay, let's try another one. Hello, that's the example they give. It's not a palindrome. Okay, so I hope that helps. Again, 2 different ways to do it. You pick which makes the best sense to you. And I hope you're successful. Thanks.